Imagine if a third of the people hiding behind Klan masks at a lynching were actually Black. Imagine how much that would completely disrupt the pretext of that terrorist violence.
We're forced to resort to such means simply to stand up and say, I'm white, I have rights.
Terrorist violence to enforce segregation, terrorist violence to prop up a myth of white supremacy. Imagine if under those hoods, that segregation broke down. Something very similar is happening with ICE. A week ago, ProPublica revealed that the people who shot Alex Pretty in the back are
43-year-old Border Patrol agent Jesus Ochoa and then 35-year-old Customs and Border Protection officer Raimundo Gutierrez.
From South Texas, both Latinos.
What we do know is Ochoa joined in 2018. It was an aspiration of his for quite some time, according to his ex-wife, who I spoke with directly. And Gutierrez, I believe, joined in 2014. So these are not the new recruits under this latest push and funding beef up.
They're not the only Latino CBP officers making a stink in Minnesota.
A Texas Border Patrol agent in Minnesota for Operation Metro Surge is charged with DWI.
Around the same time, Alfredo Mancias Jr., also from South Texas, was found having driven his car drunk, parked illegally, passed out, covered in his own vomit.
Alfredo Mancias was parked near Allianz Field in St. Paul, slumped over in the driver's seat.
It goes on.
Mancias agreed to sobriety test, which he allegedly failed, then refused to take a breath test.
In spite of Christine Noem's claim that ICE officers are getting doxed left and right, only one set of people have actually been charged with doxing an ICE officer, to the best of my knowledge. And that's a case that Biliseli, himself the child of Muslim immigrants from Lebanon, has charged 3 women, originally with doxing a person. He had to drop the doxing charge because they did not actually share his specific address, which is what is required for the doxing statute. Instead, he's charging them with stalking. But what their crime amounts to then, at this point, is identifying that Rogelio Reyes, who has since added the last name Huitzitlan, an Aztec name.
It starts with a simple sign that's loaded with a powerful message.
They revealed to his neighbors in his predominantly Latino neighborhood in Los Angeles that he was La Migra.
It's for business owners here in Baldwin Park. It says, private property, no ICE. You are not permitted to enter non-public areas of this space without a valid judicial warrant signed by a federal judge. And they're saying that business owners can come and put this on their storefront.
Now the crime of doxing becomes revealing to your Latino neighbors that you are La Migra.
For some business owners, the decision to pick up a sign is about protecting their employees and their customers.
There's definitely power in taking a stand.
And it's not just Latinos. We know that, according to Brad Lander, the 2 men, heavily masked men, who kidnapped him as he was escorting somebody from his immigration court proceeding. One was a South Asian immigrant. Another one was Indo-Guyanese. In other words, these masks are covering up a lie at the core of Stephen Miller's white nationalist project.
This great period in American history happened at a time when there was negative migration.
There are a lot of reasons why ICE masks, right? Like Klan hoods, it adds to the terror. Like Klan hoods, it provides some measure of impunity.
A federal judge just handed down a new ruling that says California cannot stop federal law enforcement officers from wearing face masks.
It makes it a lot harder to hold people accountable for their participation in terrorism.
The court has now said you have a path to making this enforceable by adding the state police in, and that's what we're going to do with this bill.
But what we're learning is that some significant part of the men who are carrying out Stephen Miller's white nationalist project themselves betray the project.
The further away in culture you go and the larger in number you go, by definition, the greater challenge it poses to assimilation.
In fact, if you think about it, the pretext to Stephen Miller's invasion of blue cities is that there is this horde of Latino men invading the United States and committing violence.
There's a lot of crime, a lot of threats to public safety and order, and those were addressed with very strict new immigration quotas.
And in fact, what has happened under the cover of these ICE masks is that Latino men, heavily armed, have invaded blue cities and started murdering people.
Flash forward to December 2025, when the Trump administration launched Operation Metro Surge in Minneapolis.
Tom Emmer is literally defending Latino men invading his state and killing white people.
And now here we are today, with innocent lives lost and chaos in our streets.
That is the truth behind what Stephen Miller has sold as a white nationalist project.
If you subtract immigration out of public safety, all of a sudden, we don't have violent crime.
If it became clear that Stephen Miller can't carry out his white nationalist project without brown people doing the hard labor, the whole thing falls apart.
Damn straight.
If it became clear that Tom Emmer is defending having heavily armed Latino men invade his state and murder white people, the whole thing would fall apart.
I yield back.
They're trying to hide how much even their deeply, deeply racist project is helpless without brown labor.
Am I the only one who is sick and tired of being told to pick up my trash? And we have plenty of janitors who are paid to do it for us.
And that is what is hiding behind the masks.
This was produced by LOLGOP Studios. Help us change brains at patreon.com/LOLGOP Studios.